name that he didn't use this last year.
Sports Lounge on the air, 156. Shane Coop's here, so we know it's a big deal. David Trottenkirk, Marcus Straxler, Charlie Hildebrand, John Crook, 1991, right here, hosting the program today. Plenty of basketball to talk about. The dunk contest. Everybody see the dunk contest? And if you did you see the dunks?
I didn't see the contest. I did see the dunks.
Good.
I was at work, so same with me. Didn't see the contest, saw the dunks, and real quick, it's fun when like you're following on Twitter because work's slow and there's nothing going on. And they're like, I don't know, I think it's over. This guy won, and then there's like a 2-minute break, and then all of a sudden it says 3 new tweets, and you click it, and they're all just like exclamation points, like, oh my god!
Oh my god!
It's like, okay, well now I gotta wait till I see this next one. But that was interesting.
Andre Drummond, Will Barton, they were awful. That sucked. Starting that thing off, this looked awful. And Aaron Gordon jumped over some shit. I'm like, oh, that was good. He jumped over things. And Zach Lavine pretty much did the same dunks he did last year, which were really good. And they were, again, really good this year. They were saying, probably one of the best dunk contests of all time, one of the best duels of all time. Shane Koob, your guy, won 2 years in a row. What did you think of Mr. Aaron Gordon? He put up, I'll say his dunks were better overall, but goddamn, he threw some down.
It almost reminded me of the home run derby between Justin Morneau and the Mr. Meth Head from Texas. In that, probably the best performance came earlier, with Gordon jumping over the mascot and doing the. I still don't know how he did that. We got to get Neil Tyson on the physics of that dunk. Getting his legs up, both legs up, and then still slamming it through. It was impressive, but I mean, Lavine defies physics too. I swear, his hang time, we got to start clocking those like punts, because every time he goes up for a dunk, his head is way above the rim, and he's a lot of fun to watch. So I mean, it makes sense that he's won the contest the last 2 years in a row.
Like you said, his hang time. He spends so much time in the air, and he can do so much. He can do so much. You can, one of the deals is if you can't hang up there that much, you can't put the ball between your legs. You can't put the ball, behind your back. When you hang up there as long as he does, you can do those things. Schottenkirk, how tall was this mascot? We go to you for the mascots. Was this a legitimate 7-foot thing he jumped over? It's hard to tell because of what it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure how tall he was. It looked like a legit mascot, but height-wise. What?
Look it up.
No, I'm not looking up how tall a mascot is, but it was ridiculous regardless if he was 6 foot or 7 foot or whatever he was. It was just, like Coop said, probably the best dunks for Gordon, but Lavine, just the overall. And the thing about Lavine is that he makes it look so easy, and the difficulty scale was pretty close, but Lavine is just so freakishly athletic that he makes it look like anybody could do it, and it's absurd. It was a very good competition. Personally, it's kind of a hot take. I didn't think it was one of the greatest ever. It was very, very good, but there has been the problem is it's Zach Lavine and it's Aaron Gordon. It's not fucking Dominique for somebody, two established superstars in the league. Lavine and Gordon are fine players, but they're not. I mean, I really, really wish that the superstars would still do it. Obviously, that's dead and gone for the most part. We'll see here in a few years if a couple of the younger guys come in and want to do it. It's just. Personally, I like the three-point competition better last night anyways, but...
Did you?
I did. Just the star quality. Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, it's just one of those things. It was a great dunk competition, but we've seen, and we continue to see, we saw what Lavine did last year. He did a lot of the same stuff last night, and it's all great, but there's like no more we can see. Gordon's dunk was great. Individual dunk is probably one of 5 best dunks ever, but I don't know why. I'm just kind of over the dunk competition.
Yeah, the Gordon dunk where it jumps over the mascot, and his legs are straight out, and he puts the ball underneath. It almost, if you would say, hey, he's going to do this dunk, and this is what he's going to do, so that's probably not physically possible. Charlie, are there any dunks out there that you would like to see They had like a boom camera. I thought somebody jump over that goddamn camera, put that up, 4 or 5 feet in the air, jump over the camera. We saw people jumping over cars, things like that. The mascot, I mean, Gordon, as far as creativity, was very good, using the mascot all the time. Any dunks out there that you think would be good that have not been done yet?
I was thinking about this the other day. Quick plug for the Sports Lounge blog, all-time NBA All-Star Weekend competition, where I had to make up my own slam dunk competition. That got a little ridiculous with making stuff up that I don't know if you could literally do. But I was thinking about this, and there's only, I think most dunks at like their base form have probably been done already. It's just adding something new to it to change it, like having a mascot spin around on the hoverboard thing or whatever, which was fun and added to it. But you have to add stuff like that. There's only so many windmills or 360s or things you can do with variations of it. So you have to be really creative. So I think the thing, like you said, like you have to jump over something no one else has jumped over before, or you just have to find a way to combine things that other people haven't done. Like I'm not going to pretend I've seen every NBA slam dunk competition. I don't know if I've seen anyone do like the between the legs while doing like a 360 or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's possible. But
or like a free throw line 360, they mentioned that last night, and they said, "Oh, can't do that. That's not possible." So jump from like 12 feet away and then do a 360, or do some sort of a flip. I know somebody a couple of years ago did like flips before they dunked, which really didn't play into the dunk at all. They just flipped, then they did it. But if you could somehow do a flip with the ball in hand in the air somehow, that is possible.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't know if you could do it, but if you could like do like standing there, like do a backflip and then dunk it. I don't know if that's possible. Like I'm not tall enough where I can be like, oh yeah, I only have to jump, this high off the ground to physically dunk it here. But something like that.
I don't know the rules or the limitations. You probably can't jump off a trampoline 15 feet in the air. You probably, if you can raise the rim, I don't know if you can raise the rim. I think Dwight Howard might have done that a few years ago.
He brought in a separate basket and he dunked it on 12 feet.
There you go. You can do that. You put the sticker on the top of the basket too.
What I would like to see, I'm not sure it's physically possible, but a guy jump up and like put his feet on the backboard and then slam it in, and
do that before he dunks.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible.
Like, but you'd have to put.
Well, if you change it and you just do 1 foot instead of 2,
you'd have to put,
if you're doing it with one.
Put, some sort of cushioning underneath the basket because that guy's going to land on his head. But it would be kind of cool, I think.
Like Aaron Gordon's feet got pretty goddamn high. They were probably a good 8.5 feet off the ground there. They got the legs were as high as anybody I've ever seen. Yeah. Why?
I mean, here's one. I don't think you could do this and get away with it. I mean, I think there would be people in the legal department on multiple sides saying there's no way we could do that. But, like, if you were like, no, I'm going to dunk it at the other end where there's this tarp up, and actually from the free throw line to the rim, there's like a 4-foot space where there's like this huge well with alligators inside. So if I don't do this right, I'm going to fall in and get eaten by alligators.
You might have to start going.
I think that would be fun, but I think that probably would not be allowed. They'd be like, no, I think we're gonna give that a hard pass. Although it might give them their best ratings ever too. I don't know.
We might start going Jackie Moon with it and getting out the roller skates and the ramp and jumping over ball girls and
bring the elephant out.
Go Trops!
That was on this morning. I watched that.
Oh, it's a classic.
Would this fall into Traxler's baseball stadium idea of the snakes and the dogs and the traps and the sand traps and the bushes? I mean, put these on the basketball courts.
Let's have a basketball court with a 3-foot depression in the lane, and so the guy's really jumping 13 feet to the rim, and I think that'd be pretty impressive.
If you could put a bear out there, good enough for me.
Jump over a bear.
The 3-point contest, you had Curry, J.J. Redick, Klay Thompson, all the good 3-point shooters. Why can't we get those guys in the dunk contest? Why Three-point contest, we have no trouble getting the top three-point shooters in there. Dunk contest, why can we not get the guys in there same year?
Way greater risk.
Injury risk? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, who outside LeBron that's never going to do it, has never done it, who do you desperately want to see? You want to see a Westbrook or somebody like that, or who do you want to see?
Well, that would be nice. Russell Westbrook would be. Kobe Bryant on a 5-foot hoop. Let's see.
He still couldn't get up to get it anymore.
And he did do the dunk contest too, right? It wasn't his rookie year.
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins, I think he could do something, couldn't he, or not?
Oh yeah.
He's probably a better dunker than Wiggins, but Wiggins would be something to see.
You got Lavine 2 in a row now. Probably going to do it next year for 3 in a row. I don't think anybody's ever done 3 in a row.
I thought he said last night that he was going to retire.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! He's 12 years old. He's going to retire from the dunk contest. You know, Nate Robinson, he's won it 3 times in a row. You know, Blake Griffin, he could do it again. That'd be nice. It'd be good to have like an all-star, Blake Griffin, you know, Zach Lavine, all these guys, a real star-studded guy. Because every year you've got a couple of guys like a Will Barton's like, get the hell out of here. That's ridiculous.
It's like the Hunger Games. You want to bring back all the former champions.
Fuck yeah. Do that. And you've got, you know, only got 4 guys now. You used to have, you know, about 8 guys, so fewer guys. But all in all, it was a very good competition. Curry finished second in the three-point contest. Klay Thompson, I think he made his last 6 in a row. How do you view those money balls, putting them there on one end? One rack of money balls. Do you like that?
Yeah, I really do. It makes it more interesting because they're going to set it in the spot where they like it the best, and they just the way they had it with the 4 or whatever, and then the money ball in every rack is fine too. But giving them that opportunity to rattle off 4 or 5 money balls and roll and add up the points at the end, it adds more of an interest than it was last night, and it's beyond absurd that they can sit there and just out of absolute stone cold, and then they're hitting 14 out of 15, or they're hitting 8 or 9 in a row. I had more fun watching that, like I said, than I did the dunk competition. Both great. It's just I'm not even sure who was saying it. Somebody was saying on the broadcast too that before the dunk competition, that with the way the 3-point is now and all the stars, that they could consider moving the 3-point contest to the last thing, but the dunk competition's probably never going to get moved out of that spotlight.
Did like the big men doing it. Tony Towns represented well. He won that skills competition. Defeated 45-year-old Isaiah Thomas. Hitting the threes, that was good. The competition I would like is an old man 3-point contest. Steve Kerr and his bad back. All these old guys. They can't dunk anymore, but I'm sure that's Dan Marley. Can we get a Dan Marley going here?
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose in horse to the guys he recruits, so let's see it.
Do a horse thing, do a one-on-one thing. I thought this weekend was pretty good. Last night was pretty good. They did that thing where they had the guy, the old legend, the current player, the 3-ball thing, and the WNBA player. I'm glad they got rid of that. That wasn't much of that.
I was thinking about how, I don't want to say like disrespectful, because a lot of people already disrespect the WNBA. But like they have the celebrity game on Friday night, and they have active WNBA players playing in it, and then a bunch of other shitheads that, you know, like the WNBA players, they're the ones who actually play basketball for a living. Aren't they insulted that? I don't know. I mean, if you put an all-star team of, you know, 2 teams of 10 WNBA players, it's going to get fewer viewers than Kevin Hart coming back out and jacking up threes or whatever the hell he does.
With how shitty the WNBA contracts are, I'm sure they're glad to collect the $5,000 or $10,000 they get for showing up All-Star Weekend.
So they pay those celebrities?
No, they pay the WNBA players like $5,000 though.
All right. Well, yeah. Then you got to take it. I mean, yeah, the money's pretty lousy in the WNBA.
It's less than Connecticut players get, so I don't think that's good at all.
In school, kid.
But not as much as Louisville hookers.
No, Louisville hookers, pristine, the best of the best. All the Yum Center shit you can buy.
Daughters grow up dreaming to be Louisville hookers. So they can
KFC, Taco Bell.
Yum.
But any of it.
I'm pretty sure more Louisville hookers have gone to the Final Four than Louisville women's basketball players.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
Louisville women basketball not bad either. They've won a
not
championship.
bad, but if you want to go to the Final Four, you want to live the dream that way. I think the hooker thing is.
Didn't they win the championship like 2 years ago?
What's that?
Didn't they win the
made the
national title 2 years ago?
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're good. Yeah.
But not as good as that.
Talk about all time, Denny Crum. I mean, the hookers got to go back a long way.
No. We'll get to the hookers. Big storyline tonight, Kobe Bryant's final All-Star game. Does that entice you to watch even more non-basketball folk?
As you well know, I love Kobe, but it makes absolutely no difference if he plays 37 seconds or if he plays 25 minutes. I'm probably not going to watch anyways. If he goes out there, literally, I want one of two things to happen. I want him to go off and hit like 10 jumpers in a row, or I want him to blow out his knee and have his career ended in the All-Star game. There's only two options. And statistically speaking, I'm kind of rooting that he blows his knee out tonight. But
Well, that's good. That's great.
I want to have a mediocre game and someone bring out a present for him, and it turns out it's a literal black mamba that bites them. And then we see, like, how are we going to react to this?
I think the over-under has climbed from 310 to about 317, 318. So people saw that number. They're nope. They're scoring more than 310 points. So I think it's the highest it's ever been.
anybody that bets on this game deserves to be shot on national TV.
Right on TV.
I'm pretty sure you've done that, though, before.
About 6 years ago, it was the worst decision of my life, yeah.
Yeah.
You got this, what, Sting at halftime? Is that what it is?
Worst decision of your life. You also picked the Florida Marlins that one week that they didn't win a single game in that baseball you do. So, because I remember I just copied John Kirk that week.
Thought you were going to forget about that. That was fucking 6 months ago, but yes, I did. Horrible.
Never forget the baseball picks.
Yes, Sting's performing tonight, and I have no ungodly reason why they chose.
Is he bringing his baseball bat?
He better. That's the only way they can save it. If wrestler Sting comes out on stage with them, that's the only way they can save it. And these 18 to 34-year-old black people that they're their target market. And who the fuck's Sting? Not that anybody watches the halftime NBA All-Star game anyways, but
he's going to play Cut Off his new album.
72-year-old Sting's got a new album. Good for him.
What is it? Marcus Rex, I go to you with the society, things in society.
Yeah.
Music and sports. There were concerts there last night, halftime show, Super Bowl. When did this happen? When did we decide to go from the fucking Stanford band playing at the halftime of Super Bowl VI to let's bring out the Rolling Stones, and let's bring out these guys, and let's bring out the hot act for a halftime or a half-hour halftime, and we got to do all this stuff, all this extra stuff.
I think it started when Michael Jackson played Super Bowl 20-something out in California, and I think they had like a few artists go before him in years prior, but that was sort of the halftime show that changed things, and I don't know why we're so infatuated. I mean, in some ways, I can see why it was done, pre-internet age, because you didn't see these artists, unless you watch these halftime shows or you were into MTV or whatever. But to reach sort of the mainstream general public, this was one way to do that. Now you can dial up YouTube and you can have every song every guy's ever made. So it doesn't make as much sense in that regard. And I don't know. I don't know why some people do it and it's become as popular as it has. But I suppose now it's sort of a tradition thing.
I thought I had read, maybe in the Strib, that it was like the 1984 Super Bowl at the Metrodome or something like that, where they just had this terrible halftime show, and they said that was pretty much what changed everything to them getting bigger acts for the halftime shows and stuff.
I think it was the year after the Metrodome hosted the Super Bowl 1992, and then '93 I think was when Michael Jackson blew it out. But Yeah, now I have
He
to look
blew
up.
it out of the.
Now I gotta see what the halftime show was when it was at the Metrodome. It was like it was because CBS had the Winter Olympics, so it was like a tribute to the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, you would never see CBS do a tribute to the Winter Olympics that are going to be on NBC. You know, that's just not going to happen.
Is it supposed to draw people in? Like, I'm going to watch this game because I like this guy. Is that the idea behind it? Does that actually work?
I mean, maybe for the Super Bowl, but I don't. Until somebody mentioned Sting, I had no idea that he was playing the halftime show tonight. So I don't know what role that really can have.
And now you'll watch because of that. So there you go.
I don't know about that.
Charlie Hildebrand, trivia questions. You know the answers. We don't. You'll tell us the questions. We'll give you the answers. What do we got?
I want to say that I also have a trivia
how it
question.
works.
What happened now? Marcus?
I have a trivia question as well.
Okay.
I was gonna do people that had won multiple slam dunk competitions and multiple 3-point competitions separately. Each of them only had 6, so I just combined it together. So there are 12 individuals that have won at least 2 slam dunk competitions or 3-point competitions. I went through and looked to try to make sure there wasn't anyone that won 1 dunk competition and 1 3-point competition. I'm not going to lie and said I looked super, super closely, but I did not notice any names that were on both lists.
I want to say there was one guy that's won both of them.
I could have missed out.
I mean, I don't
did
think
not.
he won it twice. I don't think he won both twice. I think he won it once, both of them one time. But,
and like I said, I checked for that. I did not check with a fine-tooth comb. It was basically if somebody won the dunk competition and they, in my mind, were a decent 3-point shooter, I checked the 3-point list. And when I looked at the 3-point list, if it was like, oh yeah, that guy can dunk also, then I checked. So it's entirely possible I'm missing out. So this could go down as one of the not so good ones.
I know you didn't see it last night, but similar to Stacken's question last week, if you did watch the actual NBA thing last night, you will have seen they did show the multiple winners of each.
So this might, yeah. And then just to keep it simple, we'll just say you have to win 2 of 1. So no, I only won the dunk once and the 3-point once. So that doesn't count. Anyways, so for me it's Kriens, then Schottenkirk, then Koob, then Drexler. So starting, where did my pen go?
Get the pen out.
Ah, well, there's only 12. I don't really need one.
Well, Larry Bird won multiples. Larry Bird
won 3 3-point competitions in 86, 87, and 88.
Who's coming in second?
Three-peat champ.
Coming in second. That's right.
Yep. Schottenkirk.
With only 12 answers, really can't be an ace in the hole, but I'm going to use my ace in the hole anyways and say Jason Capono.
Wow.
Jason Capono, 2007, 2008, won the 3-point competition. That is correct.
I'll just take the easy one and go dunks with Jordan.
Michael Jordan, 87 and 88. That is correct.
Me?
Yep.
I will take Zach Lavine.
Zach Lavine, last night and then a year ago. That is correct. Back to Drexler. I mean, back to Kriens. Back to one of those guys who I know who's on this thing right now.
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson, that is correct. The only person to win 3 slam dunk competitions in 06, 2009, and 2010.
That's longevity right there.
The only thing that can keep him down is his height.
That's right.
Schottenkirk.
Peja Stojakovic.
Peja, that is correct. 2002, 2003 won the 3-point competition. Mr. Shane Koob.
I'm just going to go for a shot in the dark on the 3-point ones and say Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver is a good guess. I seem to remember that he did win at least one. He did not win multiple ones.
At least he kept it local. He kept it local.
Got to know the audience.
Traxler.
That's right.
I will take Jason Richardson.
Jason Richardson won the slam dunk competition in 2002 and 2003. That is correct.
No, Dominique Wilkins.
Travis.
Dominique Wilkins.
Wilkins won the dunk competition twice in 1985 and 1990, so spaced out a little bit. Good for him. Schottenkirk.
One of the most underrated players ever, Mark Price.
Mark Price, 2 3-point competitions in 93, 94.
Me?
Yes.
Yep, Traxler.
I'll go with Harold Miner.
Harold Miner won the dunk competition in 93 and 95.
I'm going to
Craig
answer.
Hodges. Craig Hodges. Hello?
Hello? Houston? Hello?
Charlie, freeze up.
Chuck Hildebrand. He has joined the call.
Hello?
He's
Yes.
back.
Hello.
That was weird.
Dakota Dunes. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I don't know
Right.
what happened there. That was really weird.
Bit of a high pressure system went through the area there, just real quick.
I think who did Traxler say?
I said Harold Miner.
That's right, and that was correct. And it's Travis's turn now, I believe.
Yep. How many we got left here?
Let's see.
3.
I believe all of the dunks are gone. There are, I believe, 2 3-point shooters left.
And Craig Hodges did it a couple times.
Craig Hodges, the only guy other than Bird that did it 3 times, in 90, 91, and 92.
There wasn't much variety in those first 7 3-point contests. Pretty much, this guy won or that guy won.
There was not. Schottenkirk.
Yeah. Recently fired Phoenix Sun coach Jeff Hornacek.
That is correct, in 98 and 2000.
He didn't touch his face when he said the answer. So
That doesn't
That's why he didn't win in 99. Actually, I think it was because that was the year they had the NBA All-Star, or the NBA lockout. And I wish I would have found that pen and would have been marking them off. I believe that's all of them, though.
I'm pretty sure it is.
So, for Traxler, just for funsies, I had a tiebreaker. So, Traxler, there are 2 guys that share the record for fewest points scored in a 3-point competition round. Fewest points in a round in a 3-point competition. Can you name either of the 2 individuals that scored the fewest points?
oh, I got to guess at 1.
I say this is according to Wikipedia, so Wikipedia could be wrong. I don't know if this is updated for last night, so I don't know if anybody did poorly last night, but... The clue I will give you is, according to Wikipedia, the fewest points scored in a round is 5. So if you know any individuals that only had 5 points, 2 guys.
Okay, well, I will say, given that the Gophers are bad, and I know that he's in a 3-point contest, I'll say Vashawn Leonard. I think he won one, too, but I will, that'll be my guess.
That is not one of the 2 correct answers.
I thought you were going to go
That's a
Bobby
good guess.
Jackson with the.
Yeah, Bobby Jackson, you fucker.
I'm going to say Michael Jordan.
Michael
You'd be
Jordan is one with only 5 points. The other person has also done television, like Michael Jordan, but not nearly as successful in doing it.
The greatest name in the history of history, too.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Detlef Shrimp, who was in a handful of episodes of Parks and Rec.
Left
Yes.
of what show?
Parks and Rec.
Oh my
Entertainment 720.
That's right.
God. Is he as himself?
He is as himself. I believe, I don't know if it was more than one or not. I think he gets picked up for the airport to do some charity drive online or on air, and I think the guy is so excited he just doesn't take him there. It just hangs out with him in other places in small town Indiana.
Wow.
And the other one is Tom Haverford's. He opens Entertainment 720, and it's like has all this shit that's supposed to be fun. And one of them is just like a outdoor basketball hoop that's set up in this big open space, like a ballroom, and it's just Detlef Schrempf shooting baskets. And he's there for like 6 hours, and
Roy Hibbert.
Yeah, him and Roy Hibbert. Yeah, they're just bored out of their mind.
My question will go left to right. Charlie, Marcus, Cube, David.
Why the fuck am I always last? God damn.
Because you're always the last one right here.
You were second in mine.
I know, but every fucking time it feels like I'm last. Whatever.
I do it on purpose.
We go by dick size around here. We go by dick size. Mine's got quite a few. I don't know. There's about 60 answers here. We're going decades. 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I think we stop at 2009. Well, I believe is the cutoff. NBA players with the most all-star selections in that decade. The top 10 for each, including ties, so some decades include 11 and 12 guys. I need the player and the decade. So what, 80 to 89, 90 to 99, 2000 to 2009, 50, 60.
Starting with the 50s, you said?
Yep, as far away as the 50s and up to 2009.
And there's...
It's the top 10 plus ties.
So the top 10 for each decade, with a few that have more than 10 because of ties.
Yes.
I will say that Magic Johnson did it in the 1980s.
9 of them, yes, he did. Bobby Jackson, you're up.
I will go with Larry Bird in the 1980s.
He did 9 as well.
I will go Jordan in the 90s.
7 of them, yes. Dr. Schottenkirk.
Kareem in the 80s.
10 of them. One of the rare guys to make every All-Star game in a decade, yes.
That's pretty good.
Back to the top of the order.
So theoretically, I'm not saying this has happened, but it could be if someone made like 19 All-Star games, they could do it in multiple decades.
They could. Possible.
There's a lot of guys I can think of, and maybe I'm wrong, but in my brain it's like, but that guy started in like 77. And that's throwing me off that they're not starting. Well, either way. I could be wrong. We might have another Hildebrand goes out early trying to get fancy. I'm going to say that Michael Jordan also did it in the 80s.
Not on my list.
Not on the list.
Michael Jordan, not one of the top 10 guys in the 1980s.
I will go with Kevin Garnett in the 2000s.
Yes, he made it every year.
Kobe Bryant in the aughts.
He also did it every year.
It's Kobe. Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. Schottenkirk, AAA.
Kareem in the 70s.
Kareem All-Jabber made it 9 times in the 70s. He made it all the time. Humphreys, go.
I'll go with Wilt in the 60s.
Made it every year.
Charlie, some of those crackers.
Okay.
You want some Girl Scout cookies, Traxler?
There.
We had a good bit pre-show about Girl Scout cookies. Totally unwarranted.
What kind's your favorite, Traxler?
Tag-alongs. They're the peanut butter ones, right? Is that right?
Do you mean this kind of peanut butter one or this kind of peanut butter one?
The red box. The red box.
We have yet to say a cookie he is not bought from the it's at a Walmart or wherever the hell it was.
I mean, keep it low.
I went with the Thin Mints. I also like the caramel, whatever the hell they call them. What do they call it? Those ones right there. Yeah.
Bring them out. Bring them out.
Shane Coo, do we have an answer there?
Yeah, Bill Walton in the 70s?
He can go to hell.
Jesus Christ. Not on the list. Not on the list.
Ah.
We're down to the old Manning and Brady of the generation. Shattenkirk and Traxler.
Try a different Bill. Bill Russell in the 60s.
Every year.
I'm going to go with Jerry West in the 60s.
9 times.
Bob Cousy in the 50s.
Cousy 9 times.
I'm going to say Dirk in the 2000s.
8 times.
Moses Malone in the 80s.
Every year. 40 left.
Just 40 guys. All right. I'm going to say Isaiah Thomas in the 80s.
8 times.
Julius Erving in the 80s.
8 times.
Allen Iverson, 2000s.
Every single goddamn year.
Yao Ming in the 2000s.
7 times.
Good. That's good stuff.
I'm calling my shot. I'm not losing this one.
He ain't losing it.
Well, now I got to beat you.
Oh my God. There we go.
I'll probably go out right here, though.
Well, this is a disappointment.
I'm going to say David Robinson, 1990s.
Goddamn right he did. 8 times.
How about Scottie Pippen in the 90s?
7 times. Good enough.
So you said you stopped it in 2009.
Yep.
Okay. Vince Carter, 2000s.
7 times. 8 times. He made it.
How about Oscar Robertson in the 60s?
9 times. We're getting down there.
We are getting down there. Karl Malone, 90s. Anybody say him?
He made it 9 times. The best of anybody. 1990s.
How about for future reference, do we get grace if we say somebody that's been said or not?
What do we think?
I don't really care.
We'll say, okay, you can ask if he's been said.
Has Jerry West been said in the 60s?
I don't think he has. Did you say that?
I said him, yeah.
Okay.
Well, then Elgin Baylor in the 60s, then.
Yes. 9 times.
I will take Tim Duncan, 2000s.
Yes, every year.
How about Hakeem Olajuwon in the 90s?
7 times.
John Havlicek in the 70s.
We're going deep, men. Yes, 9 times. Got to be the longest goddamn back and forth here.
Clyde Drexler in the 90s?
Yes. 7 times.
Anybody say Bob Cousy?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Patrick Ewing in the 90s.
8 times. This is today's Gordon Lavine matchup. 50 dunks apiece. We're going into deep waters here, man. Deep waters.
I suppose I can use it now. I'll say Lenny Wilkins in the 60s.
Yep, 6 times.
This is probably a reach, but I'll say Ray Allen in the 2000s.
Yes, sir. 9 times.
Rick Barry in the 70s.
6 times.
How about Walt Frazier in the 70s? You say him?
7 times.
Alvin Hayes in the 70s.
10 times.
I don't want to let David call his shot and then be right. That's probably what's going to happen. I'm going to guess Steve Nash in the 2000s.
Nope. For the win in your life,
George Iceman Gervin. Let's go.
what decade?
It would be the 80s.
6 times.
Special bonus points for using Jason Hove's favorite basketball player ever, George the Iceman Gervin.
Tell you how confident I was. I had the entire, pretty sure I had all the 80s on lockdown, including Adrian fucking Dantley, so you were not going to beat me.
There's
Good.
one other guy I'd be awfully fucking impressed if you got him from the 80s.
Alex English?
Nope. Well, him too, but some other guy. White guy.
I don't know his last name, but I think you're talking about Jack something.
Jack Sickman.
Oh, yeah. I would never got the last name, but
There was a fairly big name here that was not said, I don't think.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal would be that guy in the 2000s and the 90s. Joe Dumars, John Stockton, Charles Barkley, Vince Carter, McGrady, Paul Pierce, Jason Kidd.
Remember that 3-year run when Tracy McGrady was like the best scorer on planet Earth? And then he just kind of disappeared?
It's fun.
drugs.
Drugs, you say?
He did have that one sweet game against the Spurs where he scored like 15 points in 30 seconds, it seemed like.
You want to go into college basketball and take a trivia break, and Marcus can give his question at the end?
My question is college basketball related, so maybe that.
Goddamn, that works pretty goddamn good. Here we go.
Michigan State beating the shit out of Indiana in the second half.
Nope, Indiana's beating the shit out of Michigan State here.
Not anymore.
That's right. Best conference shot in Kirk this year. What do we got?
Ah, boy, that's the hot button question. I think deepest conference. I don't know if you classify deepest as best. Most people do. I'd probably say the Big 12.
Big 12, we got Kansas, West Virginia, Oklahoma, three of the top 10 best teams going right now.
Iowa State, Texas, both. It's I don't know. There's probably I don't know. It's so hard because depending on what you think of the Big East too, I think, in my opinion, deeper than people think. But I think the mainstream would agree that the Big 12 is the deepest and best conference this year.
A Big 12, four losses might be good enough to win the deal, which is quite a bit. 9-3, Kansas and West Virginia.
Definitely on pace to have the most combined losses by one seeds in tournament history too.
Yeah, I mean you could probably lose a good 5 games, so get a 1 seed, if not 6.
There's a potential. Yeah, there's definitely potential of a Big 12 team having 6 overall losses and getting a 1 if they win the Big 12 tournament.
Coob, do you prefer this year of college basketball with lots of teams? Seems like there's a lot of teams. We don't know who's going to be there at the end. Do you prefer a year like this where there's not a Duke or a Kentucky or a North Carolina that's just absolutely running away with it?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not the biggest college basketball guy, which is kind of weird because I love basketball. But I think it is a lot more fun when it's not just Kentucky or Duke or it's not just the 2 or 3 teams where you're just kind of waiting for them to play everybody else and then see you in the Final Four. So it is kind of fun to see all these top 5 teams even going down almost on a weekly basis. So it definitely brings my interest level up a lot because I think it means the talent level is just increasing across the board.
With a month left in the season or so, there's already been more unranked teams to beat ranked teams this season than ever before, and there's still hundreds and hundreds of games like that happening.
Also, just looking at the standings here, this week there were 6 teams that got a first place vote in the AP Top 25.
Wow.
In the coaches poll, there were 7 teams getting a first place vote. So.
And another monkey wrench that 2 of the probably the top 20 teams in the country are not tournament eligible too, which just fucks up everybody else's seedings come Selection Sunday. Louisville and SMU would definitely be probably solid 4 or 5 seeds, but they're uneligible. So there's going to be some teams that you're going to look at the bracket that Sunday and wonder how they're got such a high seed. But
and so basically, there will be 2 teams in every seed line that are a seed better than they should be.
Right, and it's already sometimes where you get a team that's, regardless of a couple teams not being eligible, you'll have somebody that consensus 8 or 9 that somehow gets a 6, and this year going to get consensus 8 or 9 that's going to potentially be all the way up to a 5 or a 6, and it's going to be. I'm already praying the committee doesn't totally fuck the bracket, which I think there's pretty good potential that they do.
And also it gets 2 teams in there that would not have made it anyway. So your 12, 13 seeds, whatever they end up being, that get to play each other there on that Tuesday, Wednesday night. 2 teams are going to play there that would not have made the tournament in a normal year.
Like a Summit League at large team?
Yeah, no, Western Illinois. No. Western Illinois. Well, speaking of that, any 2 bid leagues out there that are not normally 2 bid leagues? Missouri Valley looks like a 1 bid league. What do we think of the Metro, Ammon's favorite conference? Monmouth, are they good enough to get a at-large here if they don't win it?
Yeah, it's pretty good potential that they do. It'd serve them well to continue to play well and probably make that conference tournament final game. There's a couple of decent teams in that conference, but if they make the conference tournament final game and lose, they'll still probably get in because their wins are holding up quite well with the wins over USC and UCLA amongst others. And I think they've lost 3 or 4 conference games, but definitely a team that is sitting pretty good on the bubble right now.
Always been a big Siena guy, Traxler. Big Siena guy.
Yeah.
Your Pac-12. Pac-12 looks good. I mean, there's been years where they've had 3 or 4 teams all. That's been good. Now they've got like 6 or 7 that could possibly get into the tournament here.
probably 6 or 7 bids, but there's probably only 1 or 2 teams that would be any sort of favorite to make a deep run. They're good teams. There's not any great teams out west this year. Arizona was better early in the season than I thought they'd be. They've fallen off a little bit. They should probably still win the conference. Oregon, absolutely atrocious weekend. Got piss pounded at Cal, and they lost to Stanford yesterday. They were, in some people's minds, the best team out west, and they coming into the weekend, I think on Thursday, they had the number 1 RPI in the country too for some ungodly reason, and then they lose by 20 at Cal, and they lose by 5 or 10 yesterday at Stanford. They'll slip down a little bit, but it's a lot more competitive. USC's decent. Pretty bad loss. Arizona State on Friday night. They play Arizona tonight. That's a very, very big game. Conference standings wise, it should be fun to watch. They've been better than I anticipated this early. Enfield's done a great job. UCLA is kind of hit or miss. Washington's hit or miss. Cal's come on strong recently. That's a team I liked a lot preseason, and I still think if they get in, they could be dangerous because there is a ton of talent on the team. Anything can happen in the tournament, but they're not on exactly stable footing right now. They got to keep winning games, and a couple road wins would serve them well. But as far as if you want to follow one conference tournament closely, as where anything can happen, and you don't really have a preference, or you're not a guy that just likes to watch the Big Ten tournament or the SEC tournament or the ACC tournament, whatever, I would recommend trying to find time to watch the Pac-12 tournament because it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun in Los Angeles.
What's Oregon's problem on the road?
They can't play defense against bigs. They got nobody inside. They got one really good shot blocker, but as a team, the pack defense, they play way too much zone, and they get a little bit too aggressive. And if anybody's has any sort of aggression at all, they get in foul trouble on the road. It's just, I don't know if it's Dana Altman's thing that he doesn't realize that get the fuck out of zone when you got people that are scoring on you or what. But matchup wise, there's absolutely no reason why they should have lost to Stanford yesterday. It was just horrific defending.
Marcus, seems like the Big Ten, a little down this year.
That's probably fair. I mean, I thought the last couple of years they'd kind of outkicked their coverage in a sense, where they had just kind of a massive teams at the top, and it certainly lacks a lot of depth, in my opinion. I mean, that you don't have. I haven't followed it as closely as I would like, but you have a Michigan has tapered off quite a bit. You still have Iowa, you still have Michigan State at the top, but Ohio State's probably not really a factor. So it's going to be different. I mean,
not to mention Maryland losing by 15 at home to Wisconsin yesterday. That didn't help.
I mean, you're probably going to have a 5, 6, 7 seed in this tournament, win a couple of games.
Yep.
I tend to disagree. I think there's a pretty clear top 4 in the Big Ten right now that should handle their business in that tournament. But anything's possible. Michigan State, Maryland, Iowa, and for me, Purdue are the top 4 teams in the conference right now. But Indiana, a close 5th. Indiana is actually a team that I'm pretty hot on in the tournament, depending on matchup-wise. But it's not as good as it has been, but it's right there. I didn't mention them, but they might even be the second best conference in the country this year, to be honest with you.
Wisconsin make a bit of a run here. They were pretty much dead to rights. They're 16-9 right now. 1 at Maryland, 1 versus Indiana, so they've got some good wins here in the last month. They got to continue to. They can probably lose maybe 2 more games here. They got Michigan State this coming week on the road. That'd be a good win there. They got Iowa, and they've got the tournament. Unlikely that they make it, but they are still out there.
It's looking a hell of a lot better after yesterday, but it's still definitely possible that they don't. I think they have 5 games left in the regular season. 6. If they go even if they go 3-3 and they win 1 or 2 conference tournament games, that win over Maryland did them a huge favor last night. They could go 4-4 these next 8, assuming they win their first conference tournament game, and maybe sneak in, even with the horrific losses they had early. They've really exceeded my expectations after Bo Ryan just said, "Fuck you guys, I'm out of here." Greg Gard should absolutely get that job. I think yesterday proved that. He's done a pretty fantastic job given the circumstances, and there's definitely opportunities, like you said, to get a couple more impressive wins with matchups on the road with Michigan State and Iowa. I still think they might have. Do they play Indiana again, or they already don't play Indiana? But anyways, they're something after losing to fucking Western Illinois. I mean, how bad Western Illinois is this year. They deserve credit for not totally folding.
My Northwestern squad's at 17-9. They got 5 games left. They're at home versus Rutgers. That's a win. They're against Nebraska. They got to win that one. They're at Penn State. They need to win that one. That would give them 20-9. They're at Purdue. They're losing that one. 20-10. At Michigan, they're losing that one. 20-11. Just not good enough in the conference. They're going by. Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, Northwestern's another team that they should have been better in the conference, with the conference not being as good as it has been. But again, it's Northwestern, and every time you expect them to win a game, just anticipate them losing because they're still not quite there. But they're gonna. It's sooner or later. Chris Collins, very good coach. Talent-wise, they've been without their center for most of the year, and they're still gonna win 20+ games. So they're close, and one of these years they're gonna break through and make the tournament and probably lose by 30 in the first round. But
will Minnesota or Rutgers, Marcus, win a game here?
They play each other, so that's the.
Can there be a tie?
Yeah, let's see it.
Is this the worst single season in your lifetime, or one of those other seasons worse 15 years ago?
The year they fired Dan Munson was as bad as this is. I mean, and that at least had a coaching change before you even got to conference play. But I don't know. They play Rutgers at home on the 23rd. You got to win that game. I mean,
and they play Rutgers at Rutgers on March 5th, final game of the season. That's the difference between the seeds here.
That's right.
I mean, how did this happen? I mean, they were, NIT, let's raise the banners. Again. How do you drop this far? Is it a talent deal?
It's talent. They just don't have a lot of it, and I don't know what went wrong recruiting-wise that they ended up with this, but it's really embarrassing. I mean, they shouldn't be this bad. So
there's help on the way.
There's a lot.
Amir Coffey's pretty good. I've watched him play a couple times this year, and it's what you want out of a modern guard, I guess. Just a guy who's 6'8" and long.
Compare him to a guy I've heard
of. Tayshaun Prince. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see.
Is he better than Dwight Peterson or not?
No. No, I'm just
no. All right.
No. Yeah, he can score from everywhere on the floor. I mean, he's kind of a lot like Wiggins. He makes his money a lot, driving to the basket, but he can also step back. He's a better outside shooter than Wiggins, but
if he wants to be.
Hopefully he's not making too much money, so he's ineligible for the Gophers.
If he wants to be, which is a big question, he can be an elite defender too, but it's a matter of effort.
Yep. And they don't play a whole lot of defense at Hopkins. So
want to put Coob on deck here. Have you seen any SDSU women recruits? I want to get to that in a couple minutes. Or potential.
Oh, you're going now? Sorry.
You have seen some though?
Yes. There's a gal coming in, Sydney Tracy. She plays for STMA. They actually beat Hopkins, who's like the best girls team, but I think she's putting up somewhere around 20 points. But she's a good guard, another long good guard for him that can score. I mean, she kind of fits the mold that a lot of the players coming out of Minnesota for the Jackrabbits have the last couple of years. Was somebody who's just a good all-around player and can still put up the points. Who was the other gal?
What was the deal with compare the Gophers recruiting versus SDSU women, and how they don't want some of these. Why do they not want some of these players?
I don't know. To me, it's kind of weird. I mean, I think it's just a fact of maybe they want more speed. I think a lot of the players around here are more technically sound, whereas I think they're being coached a little better, maybe not playing as much AAU as some of the players that the Gophers are trying to bring in from other places in the country. But it is just kind of weird how some of these girls, like, and I've even asked them too, like, the Gophers showed you any interest, and they said they've never heard a thing from them. Which, I mean, Minnesota is no slouch for basketball talent, and so it's just kind of weird that some of these top girls who are, there's 6'1", 6'2" guards that are complete players that aren't even getting a mention or even getting a look from Minnesota. So it is kind of puzzling how they're kind of overlooking the homegrown talent.
I do like that if you put the Brookings 5 against the Minnesota 5, the Brookings 5 would win. There you go.
You have to go to Rachel Banham, though. You can't let her have 60 points.
Well, we'll have her score all the points. She can score all the points. And final conference of note, SEC, what do they got? 4 teams getting into this thing. Got Kentucky, South Carolina, A&M, which is falling off a cliff. I mean,
Nah, SEC is probably gonna get 5 or 6 teams in.
I mean, LSU at 16-9 here. You got Vanderbilt on the brink at 15-10. They could get 4. Florida could.
Alabama's on the brink, and Florida's also on the brink. They're gonna get at least 5.
I mean, yeah, they're going to have a couple teams here with good 11, 12 losses here. So SEC probably the worst conference here of the top 5 or 6. Worse than Big Ten, ACC, Pac-12, Big East.
Yeah, you could probably make that argument outside of the top 3 or 4. It drops off in a quick hurry, which is kind of surprising because the SEC has been quite good the last 4 or 5 years. Outside of, obviously, Kentucky, but there has been some depth there too in a couple of years, but not this year.
And Big East has all the teams, my Providence team, my Villanova team.
Villanova looking good to be number 1 overall seed because they shouldn't lose again until at least the Big East tournament final.
You compare their, you compare their numbers, strength of schedule to the others, not quite as good because of the conference they play in. Providence, up and down. The Butlers, my Xavier squad, always my Xavier squad. How good are these teams, or is it a case of they play each other, so it kind of helps their resumes a little bit because these, top 3-4 teams there are pretty good. Can they have 2 teams in the Sweet 16 here?
Yeah, and I think that one step further. I think they could have 3 in the Sweet 16. I'm pretty sure, quite confident saying that wouldn't be a stretch that they have 2 teams in the Elite 8 either, depending on the bracket. The only thing holding me back from going even further than that is that Villanova's horrific shooting night in Hawaii against Oklahoma when they got pissed down by 30 doesn't look good. That's a horrific loss. That might be one of the worst losses ever for a potential number 1 overall seed. But depth-wise, talent-wise, Providence is really good. Butler's decent. Xavier's very good. Villanova's obviously very good. This isn't the last couple of years where you've always kind of anticipated that they'd be out right away in the tournament. At least not me. I could get proven wrong again. Last year's tournament, I was wrong. I had a few teams going too deep from the Big East. Probably going to do the same thing to myself this year, but I would be a lot more upset if they don't show up in the tournament. And again, it's all dependent on the matchups. And this year, more than any, with anybody, truly could beat anybody. That's the one thing I'm looking for: how the brackets formed and who's in each other's regions and the whole thing. But I would be, let's put it this way: as far as Villanova is concerned, I'd be very, very, very disappointed if they don't make the Elite 8.
I'd be happy if they didn't. There we go. Xavier, hitch the wagons to Xavier. That's what we like.
Temple.
Temple. It's been a bad year.
Temple's a team that could get in thanks to SMU not being eligible.
Let's go Temple. So are they going to do the deal where is SMU going to be in the conference tournament or not?
Nope.
Good idea there. And Louisville not either. So
Louisville can't be in the ACC tournament either.
speaking of conferences to watch, it'll be one to watch there to see what happens with the SMU not being in there. Connecticut looking fairly decent. So, any other college football notes or college basketball notes, we should say? Summit League, any Summit League thoughts?
It's only a month away from Selection Sunday today, so it's coming quick.
We're getting hard about it. Watched a lot of it this week.
I'll give Omaha some credit. They looked like a good ball club the other night against SDSU.
Beat the Bison last night.
Yep.
A lot of people think that IPFW Fort Wayne is the team standing in South Dakota State's way. Would you add Omaha to that mix or not? Or they are eligible this year for the first time.
They are, yeah.
So, I mean, SDSU is probably your 1 seed, and you got the PFW and Omaha fighting for the 2-3. Doesn't really matter a whole hell of a lot there. So would you anticipate winner of that game championship?
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe assumption.
IUPUI is 4. NDSU is 6 or 5. You have Denver or Roberts. USD looks like Western Illinois will be left out this year.
How great is that? Western Illinois has Wisconsin, and they can't even make their own conference tournament.
Good job.
2-10, 9-14. Second worst team in the conference. USD beat Minnesota 4-9, 12-15. Do not know what happened to Oral Roberts. What has happened to Sutton Squad here? What has happened? They are not good.
They play defense. Scott Sutton said it's the worst defense he's ever had.
Well, coach him up here. Would really like a SDSU USD first round game. What's the last game on that Sunday? It's a 3-6.
Yep.
Yeah, Omaha Denver. Omaha Oral Roberts. Yeah, that's got. It's up. What is it, Charlie? About that 3-6. That last game on the Sunday at 8:30. Seems like that game is the death spots of games.
Yeah, it's like they have some reason to believe that all of the fans there want to get home early. So like, we'll just make sure that this game that nobody wants to watch or cares about is the latest one at night, and there will be zero energy for it. There will be so little energy that when Charlie and Big Wags argue about whether there's an assist or not, people in the other end of the entire arena can hear it and weigh in with their opinions later on at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Is that a true story you're telling me?
Oh, that we argued. I don't think anybody could hear us because there was nobody else there to watch it, except the guy who, when I went to grab a cookie and go upstairs, was like, "No, you can't do that. You can't leave with food." I just said, "Whatever, try and stop me, guy." Because I'd been there for like 11 hours and I was angry and I was hungry.
This is good. I flipped over just in time back to Daytona 500 qualifying. Guess who won the poll?
Chase Elliott.
Yes.
Did he?
Yeah. Fucking Christ. You talk about a goddamn great debut.
There he is. Look out.
My grandpa's going to have a heart attack. He was a gigantic Bill Elliott fan. He's Chase Elliott. He's been talking about, we went to a couple nationwide races, and if my 79-year-old grandfather is not shitting himself right now, there's something wrong. He's doing backflips and doing jumping jacks in his living room in the great community of Sway City, Iowa right now.
We're happy for him. Daytona 500, Elliott's, who's got number 2? They done yet?
Those are the duels.
No, I think the second one is Johnson, if I saw that right. But
what are first 2 spots guaranteed?
First 2 spots guaranteed after the day, and the rest of it comes in with duels on Thursday.
Good.
Should be a lot of fun, but fucking it's kind of funny. Gordon was on the pole in the 24 last year too.
Who your Daytona 500 preview here? Chase Elliott on the pole, you say. Kyle Busch coming off the championship. Favorite for the season, favorite for the race.
Favorite for the season for me is going super chalk. I think Jimmy Johnson gets back in the champion circle. It's been a few years. I think he gets another one this year. Favorite for the race, again, kind of halfway chalk. Junior's obviously going to be there. Kyle Busch should be up there. Joey Logano should be up there. Johnson, Elliott. My semi, not even sneaky dark horse would be a guy like Kurt Busch potentially next Sunday, but it should be a lot of fun. With some of the rule changes, it's going to provide, when they get off the super speedways in mile and a half and the shorter tracks, there'll be a lot more action this year than there has been previously. With the new aero packages, it's going to be a lot more in-car stuff. They're not going to be like they're in the track. There's going to be a lot more skill to drive these things. This year should be pretty fun. Matt Kenseth actually is starting second, not Jimmy Johnson.
What's the deal they did this week? 40 cars instead of 43 now, and the differences now with this new team system. What's that going to do?
Basically, the charter system. There's 36 charters that were given out this week. So it'll be 36 cars that any given week are going to be locked into the field, regardless. And there's going to be some weeks there'll be 8 or 9 teams fighting for those final 4 spots. The reason they did that was to give some of the it's kind of the rich get richer in a sense. It also helps some of the smaller teams that have multiple cars, and knowing that they can show up at any given week and all those guys will get in. It's been a long time coming. I kind of like the move. You take out 3 shitty cars that obviously aren't going to do anything any week. One of them might finish 20th, but sucks to suck. You're not going to see them in the field anymore. It helps in the fact that these teams will not have to be on edge constantly, and it helps that as far as sharing information or whatever. Someone like a Stuart Haas is not exactly small, but at least they know now every week that they have this charter, and regardless of how qualifying goes, regardless if one of their cars crash, on the field, it's just that what they're trying to do is just maintain a greater field, more depth down, and not have one of these one-car teams make the field crash.
Marcus, you have a pick.
I would say Dale Jr. next week. For the season, I don't know. I mean, Jimmy Johnson is probably going to be the winner. I definitely wouldn't count out a Kyle Busch or even a Brad Keselowski for the season. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Charlie picked Sterling Marlin. Is that right?
Nope. Busch and Keselowski for me.
Good.
I'll say this. Jeff Gordon is fucking fantastic in the booth.
Yes, he is.
good.
Did some nationwide races last year,
Yep.
and he was very, very good. So
He's been great right this weekend with the race last night and a couple practice sessions and qualifying today. He's just so much better than what we had to deal with before.
Dust V says congratulations to him. Trivia question. What do we have? College basketball related.
So I had one that was more difficult, but I'm going to maybe save that because
Come on, give it to us.
No, because it's going to take a while to get all the people added up, and it's going to be.
Oh, we're running up to a station break here. Station ID break coming up here.
Holy shit! Michigan stayed up by 20 in the second half, motherfucker. What the hell? Indiana had 40 points with like 4 minutes left in the first half. There's 5 minutes left in the game. They have 57. Jesus Christ.
All right, ready to play already, Schottenkirk?
No, I'm not. I'm watching this basketball game now.
Ready to play the
Would you like to
feud.
play a game.
Let's play the feud. Okay, so a lot of talk with Buddy Hield and Ben Simmons, whoever else. Denzel Valentine. Who was the player of the year this year? So it wouldn't be fair to just pick one. So I'm going with players of the year in men's college basketball, and I have the Wooden Award goes back to 1977, and the Naismith Award goes back to, let's see here, goes back to 1969, and I will take any guesses on either list. So
Quite a few here.
there should be quite a few. A couple guys were multiple times, but pretty much everybody is a one and done, if you will. So
Anybody win both? A lot of people win both.
now there's some differences. So
Okay.
We'll start with Charlie, and then David, and then Travis.
Why do I always go last?
Yeah, why?
I knew that was
God damn it.
I thought
I'm
about
trying to
making you
think.
laugh.
Because
I don't have much on this. Ain't gonna be good.
my recollection is that generally the guys that win this, not always, but a lot of the times, at least for a long time, were seniors. And that over like the last 20 years, there's so many guys that don't stick around for 4 years.
Yeah, just on this one award, there's a stretch where it was 6 seniors, and then another stretch where it was 8 or 9 seniors. So that was true, and that maybe has been less true over time now.
And I'm trying, like, there's a few years where I can be like, oh, that guy had to win it, and then it's like, oh, wait, no, there was that other guy that was really good, too. I don't know. I want to at least get the first one right. It would be, I don't know if we've ever had anyone who went first overall and missed the very first. So I do not want to start that. I will say, I got to think that Christian Laettner won it.
Christian Laettner one time, that was in 1992. He won both awards. So.
This was 77 and 69?
Right.
Yeah.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird won in 1979, and he won both awards.
So Tyler Hansbrough.
Tyler Hansbrough, 2008, unanimous winner of the awards. Unanimous. Charlie.
He said Larry Bird. I remember thinking, like, I don't know if Larry Bird or Magic Johnson won that award.
Keep the trend of white. Keep the trend of white guys going here.
Okay, Bill Walton.
Bill Walton. Let's see here. He won 3 times. Won the Naismith 3 times, and I think it was before the Wooden Award was out. So 3 times for Bill Walton.
White guy theme, Doug McDermott.
Doug McDermott won them both 2 years ago.
Say J.J. Redick.
J.J. Redick, 2006. He won them both.
Quickly running out of white guys.
I will guess Jason Williams / Jay Williams, the one at Duke that did not kill someone with a shotgun or whatever. There were like 4 Jason Williams. The one that's on ESPN now.
Yes, Jay Williams in 2002. He won them both.
Frank the Tank. Shittiest goddamn winner in the war history, man.
Frank Kaminsky a year ago. Yes.
Motherfucker.
Back to Travis.
Tim Duncan, everyone.
Tim Duncan, 97, won them both for Wake Forest. He was a senior.
Still is.
Still is. Senior citizen now.
I'm going to guess that Patrick Ewing won it.
Patrick Ewing. Yes. Won the Naismith in 1985. Did not win the Wooden Award that year.
David.
White guy theme, Danny Ainge.
Danny Ainge. Yes, 1981. Won the Wooden Award. Did not win the other one.
Ed O'Bannon.
Ed O'Bannon. I don't
95 or so.
I don't believe. Oh yeah. Oh yep. He did. Wooden Award 95.
I do know. Jonas Blix.
I will stick with 80s big men and say Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Hakeem did not do it.
Wow.
Didn't do it. Didn't do that. Couldn't win the Final Four. Couldn't do anything in college. Get him out of here. Couldn't win an NBA title except when Jordan was on vacation.
The second white guy from BYU, Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer, yes,
Oh
2011.
man, I forgot it. Jimmer was not that long ago, and I completely forgot that he was a guy.
You won them both.
He was good though.
Fun fact, Charlie, he won D-League MVP All-Star game last night.
Good for him. I'm glad that he's at least sort of doing something.
We said J.J. Redick, and I believe the other guy around that time, or may not have won, was Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison did not win it. This is David for the win.
White guy theme from the state of Utah, Andrew Bogut.
Andrew Bogut, 2005.
Can I try to rattle off some more here? Because I've got like... Okay. I don't think anybody said Anthony Davis.
No, Anthony Davis is on the list. 2012.
Kenyon Martin from Cincy, I think 2000.
Yep.
Jameer Nelson from St. Joe's, I think that was 03 or 04.
Yep.
Jameer Nelson. Whenever we do number one seeds, I always think of St. Joseph's. I'm disappointed I didn't think of Jameer Nelson.
Chris Mullen back in the day at St. John's.
Yep. He was the year that Patrick Ewing won it.
Marcus Camby.
Mullen won the Wooden, and Ewing won the Naismith.
Marcus Camby in the mid-90s.
Yep, 96. Vacated.
Kevin Durant. I don't think anybody said Kevin Durant.
So you actually have to go back to 1995 to find the last year where there wasn't the same person winning both awards. If I have my math and matching correct. That was 1995. Joe Smith won the Naismith Award out of Maryland. He was a sophomore, would later go on to fuck the Timberwolves. And the Wooden Award went to Ed O'Bannon, as was mentioned. So.
Can I continue?
No. There's one.
Did Michael Jordan win one?
Yes, Michael Jordan, 1984. And the other big name that college basketball, Ralph Sampson, 3-time winner of the Naismith and a 2-time winner of the Wooden Award.
For the record,
won the Naismith and the Wooden, but couldn't win over Chaminade.
Right.
For the record, the Wooden Award's like 10,000 times better than the Naismith Award, in my opinion. But
don't care.
Good. Just jealous. You're just happy I didn't fucking name Shane Battier because I know how much you love him.
He's all right. Your mic's all fucked up. Stop talking. Your mic's all messed up. No.
Oh my God.
This is bad.
It sounded like it was the cross between like dubstep and someone playing your voice like staccato on a piano. It was weird. That's an awful description, but that's how awful it sounded.
Marcus, can break down the Yo firing?
Yeah, Yo had to go, man. I haven't watched much of the Wild lately just because I'm usually not home to watch it, and hockey isn't that popular in the office, and so, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's when you have sort of this mid-season swoon every year, I can see where that gets old, and obviously management was sick of it. I think they had 10 points since the first of the year, and that's not going to get done. That was worse than the NHL, so.
Hear what your boy Thomas Vanek said?
I didn't, no.
Somebody asked him, I think today or maybe even yesterday, right after the game, or right after it was announced he was fired or whatever, is asking him about being scratched in St. Louis and if he had talked to Yo or whatever. So Vanek had not talked to the coach since he got scratched in St. Louis last week. So that tells you the locker room was a fun place these last little while, and it was so discombobulated.
Yeah, I saw after he got scratched that Vanek didn't have much to say about his future as the coach. And that's can't be a huge shock. So
at least we get to listen to the Boston accent, John Torchetti, the rest of the year, anyways.
It'll be great.
Hot take. I still think they make the playoffs.
We'll see. I think they'll respond. I mean, they've had this, mid-season swoon, as I like to call it, however many times, and they'll sneak into the playoffs and play Chicago and get their ass beat. So. Try it now, Kriens.
So it sounds like they're all it sounds like you're thinking whatever you're saying and you're doing it like some
So bad. It's so bad. That's the cue for you to end the show.
Everybody go